Hey, what's up, Nerd Squad? We're back with another NFL video. The NFL draft just ended today, and man, it was a crazy one. There were a lot of picks that I don't think any of us were expecting. There were some teams with some great picks, there were some teams with some horrible picks. Before I get started, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, leave a comment if you feel like it. Doesn't really matter. Let's jump right into it. This will be the NFL draft grades for each team. Part 1. Let's jump right into it. First, we have the Arizona Cardinals. They're starting off drafting Isaiah Simmons right off the bat. Great pick. In the third round, the offensive tackle Josh Jones fell to them. He was a projected early second rounder, even a possible first rounder, so very good pick for them. Then they got D tackle Lakeith Fotu out of Utah, Rashard Lawrence out of LSU, linebacker Evan Weaver out of California, and running back Eno Benjamin out of ASU. Very good picks for the Cardinals. I'm going to have to give this one a solid A. They got very, I don't want to say lucky with some of these picks, but, some of these picks falling to them, they did very well in selecting them. I'm going to give them an A. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They took their first pick with A.J. Terrell from Clemson. Not real sure on that one. I think they reached quite a bit for him. Not a great pick. Then they got D tackle Marlon Davidson from Auburn. I like that pick. I had him personally as an early third rounder, but still a good player to get there. Then they got center and guard Matt Hennessy from Temple. Really good player. They got good value there. Next, Michael Walker from Fresno State, also a good player. Jalen Hawkins from California. And then punter Sterling Hofrichter from Syracuse. I'm going to have to give these guys a B. I liked what they did in the second and third round, but other than that, everything was either reaching or just a straight up bad pick. It wasn't all in all a bad draft for them, but really nothing special, so I'll give them a B. Next is the Baltimore Ravens, and man, they had a lot of picks. They got Patrick Queen out of LSU, which he's a stud. They got a damn good linebacker in him. Very good player for them. Next, they got J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State. He's a good player, but man, I didn't think they really needed a running back. Seemed like an unnecessary pick for them. Then they got Justin Matabuke out of Texas A&M. Wide receiver Devin Duvernay out of Texas. Linebacker Malik Harrison out of Ohio State, which I think is also very good value for them. I had him as a second rounder, personally. Then they got Tyree Phillips out of Mississippi State. Ben Breedson, I think, out of Michigan State. Not real confident on him. D tackle Broderick Washington out of Texas Tech. Wide receiver James Prochet out of SMU. Very good value there. A lot of people had him as a fourth rounder, so good value there. And safety Geno Stone out of Iowa. Also very good value. I had him as a late fourth rounder to maybe fifth rounder. All in all, I'm going to give the Ravens an A. Potentially an A+, depending on how some of these guys turn out. I thought they had some really good picks here, so I'll give them a solid A there. Then the Buffalo Bills, they didn't have a first rounder because they traded for Stephon Diggs. They took edge rusher AJ Epinesa out of Iowa, then running back Zach Moss out of Utah, Gabriel Davis from UCF, quarterback Jake Fromm from UGA, which I didn't quite understand that, but I guess with the fifth rounder, it's really not a bad pick. Pretty good, actually. Kicker Tyler Bass from, I'm not even really sure what school that is. I haven't looked into that. Really don't plan to be honest. Isaiah Hodgins from Oregon State, and cornerback Dane Jackson from Pittsburgh. I actually had him as a fifth rounder, so that was a good value. All in all, not a great draft for the Bills, to be honest. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I would give them a C plus, but that very last pick, the value for that really helped them. So I'll give them a B minus. Next, the Carolina Panthers. And as a Panthers fan, I'm very happy with this draft. I'm ecstatic. Like, I don't think this could have gone better for the Panthers. The first pick, they selected Derek Brown out of Auburn, just a monster on the D line. Then they shored up the outside with Yatir Gross-Matos from Penn State. Also a very good pick, which will really help their D line. Then they traded up for safety Jeremy Chins out of Southern Illinois. This got to be probably my favorite pick in their whole draft. Monster player. A lot of people, including myself, compare him to Isaiah Simmons. Actually, the nephew of Steve Atwater, Hall of Famer. Very good pick here. I'm stoked about that one. Cornerback Troy Pride from Notre Dame. Very fast corner with pretty good ball skills. Has potential to lock people down, too. Then safety Kenny Robinson from West Virginia. Also played in the XFL for the Battlehawks. Kind of a unique situation for him. But I really like that pick. The guy's a monster, has really good ball skills, isn't afraid to hit. Just very good pick for them. Next, D-tackle Bravion Roy. It's probably the only pick for them that I didn't really like. He'll be a good player to eat up blocks to help our linebackers and stuff. Decent run stuffer. But he's not going to be a starter, and I don't see anything particularly special about him. And then 7th round corner Stanley Thomas Oliver. Maybe reached a little bit on this one, but has some really good potential as well. Overall, I'm honestly going to give the Panthers an A+ for this draft. I'm not being biased on this at all. This is genuinely a very good draft for the Panthers. Possibly one of the best in the entire league right here. Very good draft for them. Chicago Bears, they didn't have a first rounder due to trading for Khalil Mack a couple years ago. Their second round pick, they got tight end Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame. Jalen Johnson, corner out of Utah. I wasn't real high on Jalen Johnson. I thought he was more of a third rounder. A lot of people were higher on him than I was. Travis Gibson from Tulsa. Kendall Vildor from Georgia Southern. Darnell Mooney out of Tulane. Arlington Hambright out of Colorado. And Latavius Simmons out of Tennessee State. Not a great draft for the Bears. If I was them, honestly, Jalen Hurts was available when they got Cole Kmet. They could have fixed up their offense so much just right there in getting Jalen Hurts. I've got to give them a C, maybe a C+ for this if Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson work out. Not a very good draft for the Bears. Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow. Obviously, that's a great pick. Then select T. Higgins out of Clemson. I'm one of the people that are actually a lot higher on T. Higgins. I think this is a good pick for them. Yeah, they needed to fix their O-line, but getting a good weapon for Joe Burrow, especially with the uncertainty of A.J. Green, good pick. I like it. Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. I feel like they reached a little bit on that. Akeem Davis-Gaither out of Appalachian State. Solid pick. Nothing special there. Khalid Kareem out of Notre Dame. Good pick. I probably would have taken him about in the 5th round there. Offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji out of Kansas. Good pick. Marcus Bailey out of Purdue. I actually had him as a early to mid fifth rounder, so good value for them. Overall, I'm gonna give the Bengals an A minus. Really good overall draft for them. I think they're really in the right direction here. Cleveland Browns got offensive tackle Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. Good pick for them. They needed it for their O-line. Their O-line was not good the past few years. Getting him and Jack Conklin from the Titans were a much-needed upgrade for them. Then they got safety Grant Delpit out of LSU. I don't know how he fell this far. Man, I expected him to fall a little bit, but really not this far into the second round. Good value pick for them. Next, Jordan Elliott out of Missouri. I had him more as a fourth, possibly fifth rounder, but still a decent player. Linebacker Jacob Phillips out of LSU, also probable fourth rounder. Then tight end Harrison Bryant, pretty good value there. Center Nick Harris out of Washington. And in sixth round, wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones. Now, a lot of people had him in the second round, and I had him in the third round. This is incredible value for him. I don't know how he fell so much. I don't know why. There might be a reason that I don't know about. But man, incredible value there. I'll give the Browns an overall B+. I like their first two picks and their last pick. Their middle picks were kind of questionable for me. So I'll give them a B+ there. Next, the Dallas Cowboys select wide receiver CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma. Now, I like that pick. They didn't need a wide receiver super badly, but CeeDee Lamb, in my eyes, is a generational talent, has a lot of potential to be a top wide receiver, even in the NFL. I like this pick. He's available. Go and get him. Really, really good player to pair along with Mari Cooper. I like it. Next, Trayvon Diggs out of Alabama. Good value pick for him. I actually kind of wanted the Panthers to get him. Really good pick for them. Next, Neville Gallimore fell to the third round for them. Also a good pick. I really like it. Next, Reggie Robinson out of Tulsa. I had him as a probable fifth rounder, but still a good player that could develop into something big. Next, Tyler Biadasz out of Wisconsin. A lot of people had him as a second rounder or possibly third rounder. I'm one of those people. I don't know how he fell so far. Very good value pick for them to replace Travis Frederick. And then they got edge Bradley Anae out of Utah. Another really good value pick for them. I don't know how these guys are falling to him. Then seventh round they got quarterback Ben DiNucci out of James Madison. I don't get this pick. This is the one pick for them that I really just don't understand. But overall, I'm going to have to give the Cowboys an A, maybe A+ there. Very good draft for them. I was really surprised by how well of picks they really got there. Next, the Denver Broncos. First, they got Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. I didn't think he was going to fall to them, but he did, and very good weapon for Drew Lock. Then they got wide receiver KJ Hamler out of Penn State. Questionable. I thought they had other needs to pick there. I didn't think they should take KJ Hamler there. But he's definitely still a good player for them, though. Third round, they got Michael Ojemudia out of Iowa. I had him more as a fourth rounder, but still a really good corner. Good player. Then they got center Lloyd Cushenberry out of LSU. Very good player there. I had him as a second rounder. I like that pick. Then they got D-tackle McTelvin Agim out of Arkansas. Man, I had him as a 5th or 6th rounder. They reached a lot on him. Now, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe he develops into something great, but I just don't see it. Um, Bad pick there. Tight end Albert. I'm not even gonna try to announce or enunciate his last name. Um, Out of Missouri. And they got linebacker Justin Strnad, I think, out of Wake Forest. Then guard Netane Muti. I don't know how they managed to get him. He fell a lot. I had him as a 3rd rounder, possible 4th rounder. Good player here. Very good value pick. Then they got wide receiver Tyree Cleveland. I did not put where he's from. I'm sorry. I must have spaced that one. Then they got edge Derek Tuska out of North Dakota State. Don't know a whole lot about him. I mean, he's a decent value pick there, but I mean, nothing special. Overall, I'll give the Broncos a solid B, maybe B plus because of Netane Muti. But nothing special, but a pretty good draft. Then the Detroit Lions got Jeff Okudah, great player out of Ohio State. Should be a lockdown corner in the NFL. Then they got running back DeAndre Swift out of Georgia, which I really didn't understand there. They didn't really need a running back. Kerryon Johnson's very capable. Didn't understand it. Then they got edge Julian Okwara out of Notre Dame. Good player here. I had him about in the 3rd round there. He went about where I expected. Good pick. Then they got guard Jonah Jackson out of Ohio State. I thought there were other players there that they could have taken that were better, but really not a bad pick either. 4th round, they got another guard in Logan Stenberg out of Kentucky. Again, other players there that I thought they should have taken. Still a decent pick, though. 5th round, wide receiver Quintez Cephas out of Wisconsin. Not a great pick, to be honest. 5th round, running back Jason Huntley out of New Mexico State. New Mexico State. Sorry, I completely messed that up. New Mexico State. Not a bad pick, but again, they don't really need a running back. I felt like they kind of wasted that pick. Then they got John Penisini out of Utah. Not a bad pick this late in the draft, but still nothing special. Then D tackle Jashawn Cornell out of Ohio State. Really, still nothing special. I'll give the Lions. I'll give them a B plus. Green Bay Packers. First overall, they select quarterback Jordan Love from Utah State. Now, I love the player. Great player. I don't understand why the Packers selected him, though. Aaron Rodgers still has a few really good years left. I feel like getting a quarterback this early has the potential to waste Jordan Love's career unless Aaron Rodgers is planning on retiring sooner. Don't quite understand this for the Packers. I'm definitely happy for Jordan Love. I think he'll be a stud in the NFL, but just questionable move by the Packers. Second, they got running back A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. Not even a top 10 running back on my board, really. They reached quite a bit for him. Not a great pick. And they got tight end Josiah DeGuara out of Cincinnati. Really, still not a great tight end. Then they got linebacker Kamal Martin, Minnesota. John Runyon Jr. out of Michigan. Jake Hansen out of Oregon, which I actually like that pick. I was actually hoping he'd fall to the Panthers. I had him as a 5th rounder. Good value there. Offensive tackle Simon Stepaniak out of Indiana. DB Vernon Scott out of TCU. Good player there. Pretty underrated. Then edge rusher Jonathan Garvin out of Miami. Man, overall, I've got to give the Packers honestly a C minus. Really bad picks for them. I think this is one that everybody agrees it's just not a good draft for them. I gotta give them a C-. Bad draft for them. Then the Houston Texans, in the second round, they select Ross Blacklock out of TCU to replace... his name literally just slipped my mind like 2 seconds ago. DJ Reader. I think he has the potential to be good on their D-line. I really liked him in the second round. And they had edge Jonathan Greenard out of Florida. I personally would have gone with Curtis Weaver or maybe another edge rusher there, but good player. Then they got offensive tackle Charlie Heck. What the heck? I didn't even have him I had him in the 7th round. I don't understand what the Texans are doing here. I don't get this pick. Honestly, bad pick there. And they got corner John Reed out of Penn State. I had him as a late 5th or 6th rounder. Not a great pick. Then wide receiver Isaiah Coulter out of Rhode Island. There were other wide receivers available there. I really don't like that pick. Texans, I'm going to give them a C. Potential C-, actually. The only pick I really liked was Ross Blacklock. Then the Indianapolis Colts select Michael Pittman. Good pick. Then they got Jonathan Taylor, which I don't quite get because they don't really need a running back. Questionable pick there. Then they got safety Julian Blackmon. I actually like that pick. They needed a safety, and Julian Blackmon's a pretty underrated safety, to say the least. Then they got quarterback Jacob Eason out of Washington. He fell quite a bit. A lot of people had him as a late first rounder or potential second rounder. I think he has the potential to honestly become their franchise quarterback. I like that pick. Guard Danny Pinter out of Ball State. Robert Windsor out of Penn State. Isaiah Rodgers out of UMass. Desmond Patman out of Washington State. And linebacker Jordan Glasgow out of Michigan. I like Michael Pittman, Julian Blackmon, and Jacob Eason. I like Jonathan Taylor too, just I don't understand why the Colts got him, because they don't need him. Overall, I'll give them a C+. I don't get any of the late round picks or the running back pick, but I'll give them a C+. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars actually had a really good draft. Got CJ Henderson. I was one of the few people that was very, very high on him. I arguably thought he was as good as, maybe even better than Jeff Okudah. Really good ball skills, very fast. He can even tackle. I like that pick a lot. Then edge Kayvon Chason. I mean, maybe a little bit overrated. They did need an edge rusher, and they fulfill that need in Kayvon Chason, but he does have a little bit of bust potential. I still like the pick, though. Then they got wide receiver Laviska Shenault. Really good pick there. They got D-tackle Davon Hamilton out of Ohio State. Also like that pick. Offensive tackle Ben Barch. Underrated tackle. Just because he's from a small school or something. I don't know. I like this pick a lot. I really do. And they got corner Josiah Scott out of Michigan State. Another pretty good pick, but I think they could have waited till the 5th round to get him. Then they got linebacker Shaquille Quarterman. Good pick. They got safety Daniel Thomas out of Auburn. Wide receiver Colin Johnson out of Texas. Jake Luton out of Oregon State. Tyler Davis out of Georgia Tech. And Chris Claybrooks out of Memphis. I'm going to overall give the Jaguars a B+. I really like, the first half or even 2/3 of their draft. But the last few picks I didn't really get, so I'll give them a B+. Kansas City Chiefs. They got wide receiver, running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU. I like him, but I think they should have gotten DeAndre Swift, personally. They did need a running back, and they did address that need. Good pick for them. Then they got Willie Gay Jr. Now, I'm really high on him as a player. Very, very incredible potential. But it's off the field issues that you worry about. Had a lot of issues in college. Even in high school. There's just a lot of bad stories about him, and we just don't know. Like, he has the potential to end up as kind of that Vontaze Burfict type of guy, and that really has me worried. I'm really high on him as a player. Like, has first round talent, but man, worries me with the Vontaze Burfict type of traits. Really worries me there. Not sure what type of grade to give him. Then they got offensive tackle Lucas Niang out of TCU. Good pick there. I really like Lucas Niang. I had him as a late second rounder, so good pick. And then safety L'Jarius Sneed out of Louisiana Tech. Good player. Took about where I expected. Maybe 5th round. Still a good player. Edge rusher Michael Dana out of Michigan. And cornerback Bo Pete Keys out of Tulane. Overall, I'll give the Chiefs a solid B. I'm giving him a B because I'm hopeful for Willie Gay. If he does end up having off the field issues in the NFL too, I mean, I'd probably bump this grade down to a C. It didn't impact it that much. Like I say, he's an incredible player, but his off the field issues really, really worry me. I have a lot of questions there. But anyways, this is going to do it for the first half of the draft grades. I just didn't want to go overboard and make, this hour-long video. I know you guys like me to keep the videos relatively short, so I'll try to have that second part up tomorrow. But make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like on the video. Share this video with a friend, and I will see you next time. Later.